Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Bowler Show. As usual, I'm joined by my fabulous host, Daryl Fitzgerald, and I'm Mike Patuli. How are you doing today, Daryl?
I'm doing great, Mike. Uh, things going well. Sun's out, snow is still out there, but we're getting closer and closer to the spring season, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I can't quite say it's getting closer to spring here in Saskatchewan because I think we got about a foot and a half of snow when I got back from Arizona there earlier this week. So it's been a bit of a fun couple of weeks here, but hopefully it starts warming up here in the next little while. And as you say, spring comes around. Well, I guess.
Just before we kick off, we are having some slight internet difficulties here, where our bitrate is going up and down a little bit. So if you do notice that there are stutters or whatever, let us know in the chat. If there's problems with frames dropping, let us know, and we'll try to correct that as quick as possible.
I guess I'll proceed as normal and remind people if you're here to like, comment, subscribe. So if you're watching today, hit that like button, potentially comment or hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Any sort of support or feedback helps us out. We're pretty good at responding to any questions you might have or interacting in any way we can. So any sort of interaction with you is something we're always open to. If you aren't able to catch it today, we are typically on YouTube within the day. So you can watch the video anytime after in about a day. And then if you're not able to, you can also catch us on any major podcast platform. So usually within about the week, we're on any major podcast platform. So I guess we got a pretty jam-packed show here today, Daryl.
We do.
We can kind of jump into our first little bit of news we wanted to cover. So UBC had some, I guess, their draft this week. So that was a pretty cool event to look at. And we got some North American content to talk about.
That's right. Yeah, crazy. Um, yeah, UBC did their draft. We have two North American teams now. In the last iteration, just before obviously COVID hit and everything shut down, um, we were looking at having a North American team in there, and that actually never happened because nobody could travel, and UBC kind of postponed everything. So yeah, we've got two teams. Really exciting to see some North American talent go over there. Mike, do you have the information on who's all on the teams there?
Oh, I do.
Of
So
course you do.
the two teams are there. So we got the Southern California Tsunami. I really believe they need to have Tsunami as their theme song when they come out. It's a great name. I love it. That team consists of Lauren Dion, Aaron Zangel, and Bill Brault. So that's a pretty solid team of lots of guys that have played for Team USA over the years. So they should have a pretty formidable roster when they go over to Australia there. The other team is the Golden State team. That team consists of Dan Lemoussier, um, Canada's own Mike McNorton, and Tim Christie. So that I've ran into most of those guys as well. I think playing in the U.S. Open, I've obviously ran into Mike quite a few times playing him in Canada, and I think you're pretty familiar with him being from your home club there. So
Yeah.
pretty cool to see all those names there.
Yeah, he gave me a little lowdown beforehand that he was putting his name forward and that he'd be in the draft. And obviously, there was two teams, so and he knows Dan very well. They play over in the World Bowls Tour together. They've won a bunch of PBA events, so not totally surprised that he got picked up by Dan to be on the team. Super excited to see them play. It's a cool event. So just to see some North American talent go over there and play, it'll be great to have them come back and tell us exactly what it's like and what the experience was like and who they got to meet and talk to. That's really really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it really keep going forward because like that UBC, I think there's only been maybe one or two before COVID kind of stepped in and postponed a bunch of them. So it's a pretty new, fresh format that is really exciting to watch, and I'd love to see it with some people that you actually know and or have, I guess, met firsthand and maybe have played against a few times yourself. So it's going to be interesting to see some familiar faces in there.
Yeah, for those watching that don't know what the UBC is, it's a unique event. It's really fast paced. off the top of my head, I probably can't go over every single scoring item, but they have a weird point system, so you have to kind of get used to it and understand it. But it's like 3 points for any toucher, regardless of who throws it. After the leads throw, the closest bowl to there is, I think, 3 points again. And then it's the first 3 shots, I think, that count as points after all is said and done. So closest, second closest, and third. It's going to be really cool to see how they play and how they coordinate themselves. Some really strong teams. After the draft, there was, I think, 3 or 4 that I really keyed in on. The Warilla Gorillas, Aaron Tees, Corey Whitlock, and Jeremy Henry. That's a strong team, especially if it's on carpet. Jeremy Henry is insane on carpet. You've got, who else was there? The Broad Beach Lions, Ryan Burnett, Scotty Thulborn, and Wayne Rediger. Really solid team. Dandenong Club, who has won it before. You've got Gary Kelly, Barry Lester, and Wayne Turley. Barry Lester, friend of the show. If you haven't seen his interview, go check that out. It's on our YouTube right now. And the big one, which was a huge one in the draft, was Moama. Obviously, Canada's own Ryan Bester. They picked up Alex Marshall, and they've got Kevin Anderson. And for those of you who may not know who Kevin Anderson is, because we haven't seen him on a national team or in the WBT or anything, Kevin Anderson is an incredible bowler. So just to have him with those other two, that's an insane team.
Yeah, John Seitman's in the chat there agreeing with you he thinks the team to beat. So I can't really disagree. All 3 of those teams that you did list are pretty impressive teams, and really depending on the day, as you say, if it's carpet or depending on the facility, it could be any of those teams because all 3 of them have terrific bowlers. So it's going to be a great event, and really with UBC's format, you could see a team come out of nowhere, like one of our North American teams or just another good club from Australia there. There's lots of teams that could honestly come in there and probably put in an impressive showing and maybe win or get to the finals type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch. Right now, any exciting bowls coming on TV or streamed or whatever, it's awesome to see. Finally, stuff coming back, and it gets me excited for the season coming up. Seeing as it's been 2 years since we've really been out there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really exciting. Thinking about a real season of bowls coming up here, and I guess if we want to segue nice and easily to if you want to actually try out the UBC format, there is a Canadian version of the UBC called Phoenix Bowls Championship, and exciting news again from this week. Phoenix Bowls Championship did release their schedule for the year. So Phoenix Bowls Championship, friends of the show. We wanted to touch on that there's 3 events this year. I believe first one is in, Daryl, I think actually has the dates. I'll let Daryl take over.
The Phoenix Championship of Bowls, they'll have 2 challenge events. So that's basically your qualifier into the final to win some money and win your entry paid for. June 18th, 2022, it'll be in Port Credit Lawn Bowling Club. August 13th, 2022, Heritage Greens Lawn Bowling Club. And then again, the final will be played. It could be 1 or 2 days. I think they have it set in as September 16th, which is a Friday, and then September 17th. I think the Friday, maybe a few games just to kick things off and sort of a meet and greet banquet kind of thing. For players to get to see each other and talk and get ready for the big Saturday event, which will be the final. And that's at Heritage Greens Lawn Bowling Club again, September 16th and 17th. Really, really cool initiative. I'm glad that they're starting it up. We've had Rob Gallipo on the show before talking about it. We've streamed some live stuff, our very first attempt at live streaming. So I really encourage anybody that loves bowls, that wants to try something new, something exciting. You play a ton of games. They're quick, they're fast, they're fun. Sign up. And for those provinces that are looking for something new, reach out to Rob Gallipo. Go to their Facebook or their website and have a chat with them and see if maybe you could make a qualifying event in your province and make the grand final a huge grand final from provinces all over. That would be really, really cool.
yeah, like that event in general just excites me, and I think that middle one, they have it strategically planned directly before the major nationals.
Yep.
That'll be in Burlington, so it's one of those things that I think they planned it around there to maybe get a few of the people that are coming out for nationals, maybe come a day or two early and play in the Phoenix Bowls. So it's something I would consider, assuming I can find a way to make it to nationals. Bit of a schlunker here on my end sometimes. So who knows if I'll be able to make it out of Saskatchewan this year, but potentially I'll put my name in the hat there if I do end up making it out there, because come a day or two early and try out something new and fun like that, I'll definitely be interested in that.
Yeah, and I encourage anybody to do that. It's these kind of events, Phoenix Bowls, which is styled after the UBC. Ontario and Alberta have kind of tried to do a BPL type format with teams and clubs and some cool stuff like that. All I can say to the bowlers out there, if you want our sport to take off, if you want to keep it going and interesting and bring new people on, try supporting these new ideas. Try supporting the people that are just trying to grow the sport. So really, I encourage you, go out, support it, give it a try. You never know if you're just going to absolutely love it and want to continue playing it again and again.
Yeah, no, can't say enough about something new. We got some, I guess, comments in the chat there. Props to your shirt, Camp Caribou. And then
It's for all the boomers
Rob,
out there watching right now, okay?
then we got Rob Gallipo in the chat thanking us for bringing up Phoenix Bulls, because it's awesome and we need to talk about it. So
Absolutely. Whew. We are back. You can see live streaming is never as clean as we want it to be. Hopefully things hold together. We'll keep it going, but we're going to now play our Nick Brett live interview or recorded interview between Nick Brett, Luke Caldwell, and myself. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you miss it because of the back and forth glitch, it will be up on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out there as well. So without any further ado, here we go.
All right. Well, first off, Nick, I want to say thanks for joining us here on the Canadian Bowler Podcast. It's a pleasure and an honor of ours to have you on the show. So thank you very much for coming on today.
No problem at all.
Question I like to kind of start with whenever I interview people is just for people out there who might not quite know who you are. Who is Nick Brett?
Yeah, well, firstly, hi everybody, and thanks for having me on. And I'm Nick Brett. I play lawn and indoor bowls over in England. Been lucky enough to play on the World Bowls Tour and be in the Bowls England elite squad for the last, couple of years in the elite squad for sure. Last 10 years on the World Bowls Tour, which has given me a great deal of pleasure playing against and with some of the best players in the world. And I've been lucky enough to win a few events on the World Bowls Tour, which has kept me up there in the top 16 for the last 10 years. And more recently, been selected to play in the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in July 22. So really looking forward to that.
I'll give another couple quick hits here. Gold in the 2000 British Isles Championship, 5 World Indoor Bowls titles. You were named to the 2020 World Bowls Championships, but obviously that was postponed, canceled, however you want to look at it. And then obviously named to the 2022 Commonwealth Games team for England. Just looping on that, we're both on the opposite side of 40, and seeing how your career has really skyrocketed over the last 5-10 years. Obviously you had the viral video and have won a tremendous amount of things and are always either near or in the final for all of the WBT events. What was the feeling of actually being named to the Commonwealth Games being played in England?
Yeah, like you say, I've won probably my share of stuff over the years, whether that's as much or more than anyone else, I don't know. But getting selected, with the talent that England have to pick from for a home Commonwealth Games, probably, you know, is one of the things that you would have on your bucket list to do, but it's controlled by other people, selectors, team managers, other people's opinions. So you can only do what you can do, and hope, you know, and as luck would have it, at the moment I've probably done enough over whatever the 2-year period it is we've been in selection process for, to gain a spot on the team. So super excited to get going, really, get to the event. We've obviously got a lot of preparation before then, but over the moon to get selected. Like you say, I'm probably the wrong side of 40 now, and but really looking to take my chance when it comes.
So I've got to ask you, Nick, with myself kind of being pretty deep into the social media aspect of everything we got going on here, what was it like to be arguably the most famous and viral lawn bowler of all time?
I don't know about the most famous, but certainly the bowl I played has gone viral, that's for sure. And whether it's even the best bowl ever played, I'm not sure. But I guess with the commentary and Greg's telling me what he wants me to do, and luckily I managed to do it. And with the crowd involvement, it's probably the whole package. But, you know, like I said, I don't think it was the best bowl ever played, but with all of it in, it certainly gained momentum and attraction from the social media side of the game.
We in North America, we rarely see anything Bulls related. It's a relatively small sport. Obviously, hockey, basketball, baseball all come into it. But we saw news articles, we saw video, a lot of stuff come out about that bowl. What was the media hype and kind of that whole moment when the video went viral? And like, did a lot of people contact you? Were you just flooded with interviews and whatnot?
Yeah, well, firstly, I was playing, and I can't remember whether I played the next day or the day after, but I'd gone on the green. Phone was pretty normal. Come off the green, I had something like, I don't know, 100 messages or something like that, and then all of a sudden, loads of people contacting the World Bowls Tour for me to do interviews and stuff, which I duly did, radio, TV, you know, from various parts of the world and the UK. So, yeah, the next week was kind of a bit insane, to be honest, whilst still in the world singles at the time. So, yeah, it got a bit hectic there for a while, and then after the tournament, I went back to the club, and I think I did tried to reenact that bowl for the Times newspaper. And I think it took 10 or 15 attempts to get anywhere near trying to do it again, and yeah, pretty hectic there for a week or two. But then luckily for me, it slowed down a bit and got back to a bit of normality.
Fair enough. Well, you've had a pretty amazing run in the World Bowls Tour over the last number of years, and you've become one of the top players and occasionally a commentator. For those players aspiring to be on the World Bowls Tour, how hard is it to consistently do well in events like that?
Yeah, very difficult. I mean, before I was in the top 16, I probably spent 10 or 12 years trying to qualify to get in the top 16. So it's a long, hard road, but it is possible. It is possible to get in, and I'm probably one of those that thought, well, you know, difficult to get in. I'd qualified a dozen times, not won enough games against the best players in the world to get enough points to get in. Then luckily I get in. Then all of a sudden you're playing against the best in the world all the time, and you know, you've got to find a way to win. In my early events, I was winning games, but not winning the second game. So just trying to accumulate wins against the best players in the world is really, really difficult. You know, you got to try and find out what your best game is and what they do. You know, it's not easy because they've not got many weaknesses. So I just tried to play the best I could all the time, work out what the rink's playing like, what's the best shot to play on the rink, and the best shot for you to play, because what other people play isn't always the best for you. Some people are better at a draw in a certain circumstance, and some better at playing a runner, and it might not look like a runner. So really trying to find your feet pretty quickly against the best in the world. My only strategy is I try and play as best I can in every game, and and sometimes that's enough to get over the line.
So you're speaking about the fact that it took you so long to just crack that top 16, and now you're in it. What does it feel like being on the opposite side, where everybody's trying to take your spot now?
Yeah, I've been the hunter, if you like, and I suppose when you're in the top 16, you're one of the ones that are hunted. But again, you just have to try and play as best as you can every time you play. You can do no more. Yes, and it's easy to say some you win, some you lose, because when you lose, it's not great. But just try to play and give everybody the respect they deserve, because everybody's had to qualify and they've all had a long route to go through to get in. So really is an easy one for me. I just try and play as good as I can all the time, and the ranking points will take care of themselves, because you can't think too far ahead. It's just in sets play, you've only got to lose one set, tie breaks anybody's, and then away you go.
The World Bowls Tour, it's a pretty big event, and we don't have much like that over here in North America, but we do get to see a lot of it online on Facebook and on YouTube, and they seem to rack up a pretty impressive number of viewers. What do you think that the World Bowls Tour means to the game of bowls as a whole?
Well, TV and social media and Facebook coverage is key. People need to see the game. Otherwise it's almost in the background. If you can't see it on whatever it is, Facebook Live, social media channels, or in the BBC or wherever we're broadcasting, if it's not out there, people will think it's not available to access. Whether it be playing or watching. So it's desperate. The World Bowls Tour, need to get it out there. And there was live streaming outdoors at national finals at Leamington for us this year, which is a first for a long time. So all of those social media channels and where it's viewed need to be out there, because you're competing with loads of other, smaller sports really, and in coverage, because it's it doesn't get a great as coverage as what football, cricket does. So we're competing for a small amount of coverage, and you've got to get as much out there as possible to keep people interested.
That's fair. We've often argued on the show that but we love the WBT. We watch it. We cover it. It was one of the first. I'll say it's one of the first in that space of bowls to do YouTube and Facebook and really get out there and do that kind of stuff. But we've often argued that we think the WBT could have done more and could be bigger, and some of the rules kind of restrict them. We've been really happy to see, I guess in a small way, the dress code changes, where it's not just white pants and the same shirts, and that they've have a new event. What do you think about the WBT trying to expand, and do you think that there's room for them to grow even bigger?
There's always room to grow bigger. And yes, it is great to see another event, and hopefully they can get Scotland back on the tour next year, which will be outstanding. I agree. Dress code change, phenomenal. I'm certainly not a big fan of white pants, white trousers, white shorts. I'd much rather be the black side, the black bottoms, if you like, or even if we went radical and had green and red, we'd probably look a bit strange. But I think I'm not a big fan of white, that's for sure. So that change for me is one going forwards. What else can they do? It's difficult because you need to get space in a very busy UK calendar, and attract sponsors to get the event going, and because streaming's not always the cheapest thing to do, or certainly over a week. You've got to get sponsors and all the players. I think this event, is right in the middle of English national indoor finals. So even that's not ideal dates for everybody, but probably the only available dates at the time. But yeah, great to have more events, that's for sure. And could there be more like this? Yeah, I'm sure they are trying to make steps to do the same. And Jason plus the board have put a lot of work in to get it where it the second event running this year.
So obviously, a lot of people across the globe have been kind of struggling with cancellations and events being postponed in all sorts of different sport. But I know for us personally, basically, bowls kind of grinded to a halt as of 2 years ago. What have the past 2 years been like for you? And what was it been like over in England?
Yeah, well, we missed, I think, 8 months. I think we missed 8 months of we play 8 months indoors and 4 months outdoors here. So we basically missed a season of both. So pretty difficult times for everybody. I mean, I don't know how everybody coped, but we were Zoom calling each other and trying to do quizzes and just as a group chats and gets together over Zoom just to keep in touch, really. I mean, I think when you enjoy going out shopping, it's a rough enjoyment, isn't it? We're all locked up for a pretty long period of time. It was very unusual for us that get out quite a bit to be locked up all the time. So difficult times for lots of people. So myself, we were just bi-weekly Zoom calls and quizzes and talking to each other like that with friends, family, and other bowls colleagues. So yeah, I can't imagine it was a great time for everybody, sure.
Over the last little while, we've had discussion with some Australian players about their preparations for coming to the UK and playing. And obviously they've got a lot of different things they're trying to do to mimic what's like in the UK and the greens and so forth. It's very different. But you being in the UK, in England, home soil, what kind of things are you doing to prepare yourself for Birmingham?
Well, over the last outdoor season, we had a squad of 6. Obviously, you only need 5 for the event, so unluckily, one's missed out. But we played a lot of games, something along 38, 40 games as a team and as a squad. Not all on the Leamington surface where it's going to be played, but large majority on there, which has seen us, in good stead, playing a lot of games outdoors together as a small group. We've learned a lot about each other and a lot about the surface. And, I think that's what we're going to be doing in the coming outdoor season in preparation for Birmingham. So hopefully that's what, games together on the surfaces will help us immensely against good opposition, obviously.
Just kind of a question I'm actually just kind of curious about. I know here in Canada, there's not a lot of funding or financial support for our national team athletes. We know obviously countries like Australia and such have more funding opportunities. What is that like over in England? Is there much financial support, or do you guys are a lot of self-funding?
To be fair, they cover costs and, meals, accommodation. So I don't expect we lose out, but I don't think we've quite got the funding maybe that Bowls Australia have. I don't know the exact numbers and figures, but yeah, we don't lose out pocket-wise, but I don't think we make out of it, that's for sure.
Do you have any additional pressure or anxiety going into playing on home soil in front of a home crowd?
I've put the pressure on myself over a lot of years. So yeah, there'll be pressure, expectations. Play at home Commonwealth Games, you're expected to do well. That is for sure. But I don't think there's anybody that puts any more pressure on me than me, to be honest. I don't want to let my team down or myself down. So by playing badly, I'm letting both of us down, myself and my team. So yeah, my drive and determination is to play well as often as I can. And hopefully that reaps rewards at the end of the Commonwealth Games, really. So yeah, no, there is pressure for sure, and there'll be added pressure. And that may ramp up a bit depending on how I start and we start, whether we start good, bad or indifferent. It might ramp up a bit more. Home crowd, hopefully it will be packed. And yeah, but there'll be pressure for sure.
What do you think the Commonwealth Games means to bowls?
Well, it's certainly a great spectacle every 4 years for us to, showcase, a massive event on home soil as well. If, this is going to be in the public eye, TV are going to be showing, every day. So whether it be red button or live, there's going to be games on every day. So what a spectacle for us to show. And if we can do well as well, yes, it's going to be seen by everybody. But if you do well as a home nation, people think, oh, I know these people. I can get, I can do this. I can go down and have a go. So great. It's a great opportunity for us to encourage people of all ages, because it is a sport for everybody to play. It perceived as maybe not a younger person's sport, but it is. It is accessible for all, and we need to get that out there and make it available for everybody to play.
Well said. We definitely agree with the accessibility part and the inclusiveness. We try to promote that as well, and it's good to know that other people are trying to push that forward, because it's such a fantastic sport and it's so underappreciated. It's nice to have top guys like yourself feel that way as well.
100%. I can go and ring up. Well, I've played with Greg when I wasn't in the top 16, and I think he was ranked number 1 in the world. I cannot ring Tiger Woods up and say, fancy a game of golf, Tiger, because it's just not that easy, is it? It's just not that easy. But in bowls, I play against the best players in the world. Yes, I'm in the top 16, but I can do that at club level. Regional level, competitions wise. Catherine, won the world indoor singles, and I've played against her at least twice this season. So you just can't do that in most other sports. And I certainly can't go training with any of the Premier League football teams as easy as I can go and practice with someone at bowls.
Right. I got a quick question about the English setup. So how difficult is it to get through nationals and actually win a national?
I'd say it is pretty difficult. I'd say it's pretty difficult. You're playing, I mean, I don't know exactly what the figures are, 60, 70, 80,000 people, playing the game indoors and out. I don't know what percentage are entering them. I'm not up on those stats, how many actually enter, but you probably got to win 12 games in each comp to win a national title each year against the best of the best. You can play in strong area, weak areas, and get through to national finals, but nobody's weak who qualifies at national finals. And fortunately or unfortunately for me, I play in tough area indoors and out. Which is good and bad, because you've had to play good players to get through, but it's not easy to get through because they're all tough games. So, but it does prepare you well for national finals, because you've played against good players, and you're in good stead to play others when you get to national finals. So really difficult to win national comps in all of the 4 home nations, to be fair.
There's been a lot of changes to the game, kind of big and small, recently with, like we discussed earlier, dress codes changing and going to the 2 colored bowls at the Commonwealth Games for a visual aid and maybe a marketing opportunity for some bowls companies. What do you think else could be changed to help kind of revive and help the sport grow more than it already is?
Well, I think there's obviously there's not much. We play sets play on the TV, but that's probably the only time we play sets play. I mean, I don't know how that comes across with the general viewing public. Does it make all the games viewable right till the end? Because if you're playing an ends game and there's 10 shots in the game from early on, is it a good watch all the way through the game? Does it drag you in? Sets play probably, if you want, if we're going to go to TV and viewing not rights, but more viewing on whatever platform it's going to be viewed on, TV, Facebook live streaming, all that good stuff. I think sets play is probably not, it may not go down well, because I think a lot of traditionalists like the formats as they are, But if you want to get it out there viewed, I think sets play is probably, you don't know who's going to win until the end of the second set, really.
Good point. A personal question of mine from we discussed the viral shot earlier. We have a clip on our site that shows shots before and shots after, and I've often argued that your second shot was better than your first. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think people concentrate on the one that's been viewed a few times, but the second one was more important, because if Alex plays his bowl onto my bowl, we're probably 3 down and you lose the first set. So the second bowl is more important, but again, the first bowl is probably got all of the build up with Greg telling me what he wants me to do, crowd laughing because he's never going to get this, and then you go and get it, and the commentary goes with it, doesn't it? So the all round package probably helps the bowl, be what it is. But the second bowl, that probably the first time anyone's ever asked me that question since, is probably the better bowl, because if not, we lose the 3 and probably lose the first set.
Perfect. That just justifies my thoughts on it.
Well, I don't have any more questions for you, Nick, other than what do you think, what's your goal for 2022?
Goal for 2022, and I'm probably going to put the pressure on us here saying that, but having got selected for the Commonwealth Games home games, I think I've got to be shooting for a gold medal, really, and yet probably puts a bit of pressure on me and whoever I'm playing with, but so be it. I'm not going there to come second or third or even lower, to be fair. So I'm going to aim high and do my best to bring out the gold medal at the end.
I don't think there's any better goal than that. We definitely wish you the best of luck. Hopefully I'll be there as a coach for Canada, and I'll get to see you at some point and actually meet you in person. But for me, I have no more questions, but I just want to wish you the best of luck this year and at the Commonwealth Games as well. Yeah,
great. Thanks very much, and thanks for the opportunity, and hope the video comes out good.
Perfect. Thanks again, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome interview. The video came out well. It actually streamed nicely on here. Too bad that the stream crapped out before that. So again, want to thank Nick Brett for coming on and talking about it. We tried to not make it all about the viral video. Obviously we had to talk about it because it's a big video on our site, but we wanted to get to who he is, what he's aiming for, what he's doing this year, and hopefully we can get him on again to talk about all the experience that he got from actually playing in England.
Yeah, when we started to arrange the interview with him, I honestly wasn't even aware that he had never been to the Commonwealth Games before. So it's actually an interesting sort of path he's taken, where I found the interview quite good to talk about how he had to sort of slog his way or work his way through the World Bowls Tour over, about a decade, and got himself into the ranked portion of it there. So it's actually a pretty good interview if you're ever wanting to sort of see what that path is like, where you sometimes you have to put in the work to sort of see the success there.
Yeah. Really, really neat to hear from him. I've never talked to him before. Everybody that's been coming on and talking has been super nice. It really makes me feel good about the Bulls community, because everybody from superstar to club person to association, whatever, they've all been really, really nice. So we'll continue to have a lot of these kind of interviews, get you to see some of the top stars in the game, get to know them a little bit better, figure out who they are and what they do. And really, I think the biggest thing I took away from his talk was the fact that the coverage that the WBT gets is super important. So getting it out on Facebook and YouTube, on the BBC in the UK, same with the items down in Australia, the BPL and the UBC, getting it on like Fox Sports or any of their channels, having it streamed on YouTube and Facebook, and getting it out there. If bowls isn't in people's faces, it's in the background, just like he said, and we need to be able to push this more and more into people's faces and say, hey, it's a sport. You can go as casual as you want, as competitive as you want. You can go right to the top in the Commonwealth Games. It's a sport for everybody, and I think that might lead us into our next topic, which is the inclusion of parables in the World Championships. Mike, what do you think about that bit of news?
Long time coming. Like Commonwealth Games has recognized parables for at least a few iterations of the Commonwealth Games, and there hasn't been a World Bowls for parables or essentially any sort of disability-based bowls. So it's a great thing to see. I know Canada specifically, we've started to create a program, I guess, over the last couple of years. It looks like there's been some effort made, which again, it's terrific to see that all people, no matter their capabilities, can participate in bowls. So I'm pumped to see it. It's going to be great that it's actually got recognition there at the World Bowls now.
Yeah. Obviously, when I've watched the para athletes play at Commonwealth Games, Australia has a super strong side. You've got places like the UK, which has programs in place. Bowls Australia just brought Ellen Faulkner to be the head of that kind of group of athletes. So it's serious, and there's a lot of countries that don't have those programs in place yet. And I know Canada's working on it, and the pandemic kind of hit at the wrong time when they were just starting to ramp that kind of stuff up. But a lot of other countries, so now that it's in World Bowls, it's in Commonwealth Games, that'll give them a good kick to really push those programs and then get them in place.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the development of parables over the years here, because I remember when I played for Canada at the test matches in Australia there a few years back, they had a parables event at the same time, and it's actually incredible to watch some of the parable players play with what limitations they have, but they're able to make it work, and they're actually very good bowlers in their own right. So it's great to watch it, and I'll be more than willing to tune in or check out whatever results happen. And I really do hope Canada specifically, we kind of push towards that and maybe get a decent team of our own together in the next few years here too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out. I know clubs traditionally struggle with being able to support parabowlers. So whether it's a physical disability or other disability, I've been very fortunate in my area. There's been in the past a very strong visually impaired group of bowlers, and they're phenomenal. When I started playing and I watched some of them play, I had no idea that there was a visual disability until someone actually told me, hey, this is our visually impaired group. You can see all the stuff that they have. They have like a string down the center for help. They have a director which goes out and tells them if they're 6 feet away, 2 feet away, narrow, wide, all that kind of stuff. But unbelievable. And the time is now to really capture that market and say bowls, and we've been saying this for a while, bowls is accessible and inclusive for everybody, and we need to break out of those traditional club stereotypes, traditional game stereotypes, and really just embrace everybody out there, because every single person can play this sport.
Can't say it any better than myself, Daryl. I guess we did have one other thing we wanted to cover on the show here. So yep. This is a lot of me wanting to get this involved here, but there was a terrific video that went out on TikTok over the last week or so, and is involving a lady playing some short mat bowls, and she has a terrific celebration at the end. So I guess you got that clip ready, Daryl?
I do. Here we go.
Off here. She just plonks it, turns around. Got the thumbs up, the little shimmy, the shake. thinks that she's gonna lift up her shirt or something. It's really terrific to see. I love the celebrations in bowls, and when you kind of do something that's a little outside the box. I personally celebrate once in a while, maybe not appropriately at points, but I love to see it because it adds a little bit of flavor to the game. What's your take on a celebration, Daryl?
Oh, it was really cool to see when you pointed me out to that. I had no idea that it had millions and millions of views. And then I actually saw it pop up on TSN as well. So obviously very different from the Nick Brett clip, which we talked about, to this one, but it's really, really cool to see. Obviously she makes a fantastic shot. You know, drawing a shot right behind the jack is probably the number one shot that you want to make. And then just to have her turn around and have a little fun. She knows that one of her family members, I think, was, recording it. She does a little dance for the camera. It's perfect. It's someone having fun, and that's really what I play bowls for. I mean, yeah, I'm competitive. Yeah, I want to win and do all this kind of stuff. But in the end, it's fun. Let's just have fun out there. And that clip is just really fun.
Yeah, I've seen a few different varieties of the clip. I think it was my wife originally forwarded me to the one where they put "Still Dre," like the rap song in the background for when she does it. So it's pretty great when you can kind of cue it up to certain parts of songs and things like that. So again, as you're saying, fun is the main thing we're looking for at the game. I love to see it. I'm gonna personally emulate that at multiple points this year when I make a nice shot. So just be ready for it. I'll probably do that little shimmy shake and the thumbs up, and I won't take my shirt off though.
All right, we appreciate that, Nick.
I guess is that all we had planned for today?
Yeah, I think so. We want to apologize for the technical difficulties in the middle there, where we had to shut down the stream and bring it back up. Everything's been running pretty much perfectly fine since. Don't know what that issue was. We try to avoid it as much as possible, but stuff happens. We appreciate everybody that stuck around and watched the show. What I'm probably going to do is I will pull the two parts off of YouTube, piece them together, and then post it again just as a separate video, so you have the complete show all in one go. But yeah, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's great to see everybody supporting us, and hopefully we have some more really exciting news to come your way in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for that stuff.
Yep. Thanks to everyone for joining us, and may all your bowls be touchers.